All right. Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hi. What's good, Mama? You do the intro.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Previously Anxious podcast, or welcome if you're new here. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And today we're going to be discussing
Unconditional love.
Is that it? Or are we discussing unconditional love, but specifically love being transactional?
That is what we're talking about. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm going a little ahead of myself. Wait. That's definitely what we're talking about.
I guess the question is love transactional.
Is love transactional, I think, would be the better question to pose. But yeah, is love transactional? I don't know. This was definitely more of like a pressing topic for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing a couple of things here and there. I've been reading a couple of things. I shouldn't be a person that allows myself to get so triggered from like reels and things like that. But yeah, I've been a little triggered. I feel like I'm seeing so much, at least in like today's society, where people are doing entire think pieces on like, if this person is not giving you this, cut them out of your life. If this person doesn't provide this for you, get rid of them. People don't exist to fix your problems.
Yeah.
People do not exist to be around you for the sake of, I don't know, character development. This is not a fucking TV show. Like, they have their own life and you have your own life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like the friendships that you have, that they shouldn't maybe help build you up over the years, like as a gradual thing, because that's just what community does. That's just like what friendship does over the years. But I feel like it's a lot, at least with what I'm seeing on social media, it's very like, make sure that you have a friend that is a really good listener. Like if your friends can't listen, like you can't have friends that like, don't listen. And that just makes me think of people who trauma dump. You know what I mean? Like I feel like unless you have a friend that's really just not into you or someone who's only talking about themselves, I don't know if I would go as far as to need to even define a person by how good of a listener they are. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like that's a deep step that maybe you should be reserving for a relationship, or maybe you should be reserving for a therapist, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm just feel like I
feel like the traits themselves that people are bringing up aren't really like the negative point, but more so how they act like if this trait is not to the level that they want it to be, or if it's like missing, then it's like, I hate this person.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
It's like this person serves no purpose in my life.
That's what I'm saying.
Being a good listener, being
ahead.
a good listener, like I would say that's something that you want in a friend.
Yeah.
Just when you like, oh, I need to talk to them about this.
Right.
But it's also like, unless that person literally like ignores you, or maybe this isn't, like I see what you're saying, but I would say a trait, it's not necessarily even traits. Like it's the act of like this person is doing something for you. Like this person is listening to you. But I think a big problem is like the absence in yourself. And then the height at which you scrutinize someone if you feel like it's missing.
Literally, the way you want to demand it from that other person.
It's kind of like, first of all, you're not a good listener. Second of all, this person has listened to your past 4 stories. If this time right now they're preoccupied with something else, you're not like you being like, you're a terrible person. I needed you when such is actually crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. Something like someone being a good listener or not, or someone being like extremely kind, or someone being like a friend who goes out of their way for people. These things are things that are not, they are good traits. They're good, but everyone's not going to have them. But also people don't exist like to have these traits in reference to how it helps you. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, I would say that I could be a good listener. Yeah. But what does that have to do with you? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's kind of like, it's when I guess here's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
My traits are my own, just like your traits are your own. And when you're friends with someone, like truly friends with someone, you will see like really good traits in people. You're like, wow, I'm learning this about you. I didn't know this about you. Wow, this really works with me. You don't like necessarily go out looking, hey, I'm going to trauma dump on 3 people. Whoever is the best listener, that's the only one I could be friends with. Because then I feel like you're not really looking at this person as a person versus kind of like a surrogate of like someone that you can use for whatever purpose and desire that you're trying to fulfill at that moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little sticky, but I feel like what I'm getting at is more of kind of like, you need to like people because you actually enjoy spending time with that person instead of psychoanalyzing their traits and listing it out and then thinking about how that helps you as a person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
Not
issue.
really thinking about this person as a whole.
Yeah.
But just like dissecting them and like taking like, okay, I like this part and I like this
Right.
part. These are the parts I'm going to interact with.
Right.
These are the reasons why I'm friends with them. And like, if these parts disappear, then I'm out.
Then I'm out because it's also kind of like, these are the things that help me.
Yeah.
It's not even just like, it's not even the point of like, oh, they're this, they're that, and the third, they're funny, they're kind, they're, smart. It's not even just like, oh, this is this thing about my friend. I like that. It's more about, this is how these things help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in relation to myself, because some people, depending on where they are in their lives, maybe humor is not needed.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have friends that are on the goofy side, it's time to dispose of them. Because like,
because like I'm in an era where like nothing's funny, and like what are we laughing about?
and it's
So like
so
all
crazy.
of you clowns need to go.
All of you clowns need to go. Like, I'm grown.
Yeah.
And like, low key, like, I'm telling you, I'm not saying all this to be like judgmental or condescending, because I've also kind of been trapped in the you know what I mean, kind of like the over analyzing like culture of it all and like friendships. But I feel like you can't let it get to the point where you're missing kind of like the point. You know what I mean? Which is to be friends with people that you actually like, date people that you like. That's it. Stop thinking about how this person is going to help your life. Like, just stop thinking about that.
Yeah. But I also find it interesting, like for me, and then, sorry guys if I'm sniffling, it's the allergies. It's allergy season.
Yeah.
And I have it bad. But I think the thing that I find interesting too is that the way that those people who are like very loud and vocal about that, I do feel like it's people who are doing that and they don't even notice that they're doing it.
Yeah.
But for the people who are like well aware and like this is what they feel like friendship is or consists of,
Yeah.
I find it interesting that they never do it to themselves. Because me being the person that I am, and like recently you sent me that Substack of the girl talking about how, and maybe I'll add it to the description. Yeah, definitely link it. Talking about never receiving unconditional love. And it made me think about myself in the sense of like, I'm constantly thinking to me, like, what am I bringing into this person's life? Like, even if, and it's not like in her Substack, she was talking about like she's around shitty people and like they do nothing for her. But like she's constantly feeling like she has to do something for them. I wouldn't say that I go that far.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not doing something for people who are like literally sucky.
Right.
But like, I feel like I meet great people or like I become friends with people that I really admire. And then I think like, oh, but what do I have that like, that's when I start psychoanalyzing myself of like, okay, what could I do for this person? Like this person, they're kind, they're smart, they're really cool. I talk to them a lot. I feel like I learn a lot from them. Like, what are they learning from me? Am I kind to them? Like, do they think I'm, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I feel like that's the thing, especially like relationship wise and things of that nature. I think because I have pretty good taste in people, but then I start feeling like I'm falling short.
It's like self-worth.
Yeah, self-worth. Yeah. It's like I know good people when I see them.
Yeah.
But then when I'm around them, then I start feeling like this person.
Like, you guys are so great. Like,
yeah, you guys are so great. And like, I'm literally just a comedic relief. Or like, you guys are so great. And like, you guys just hang out with me because you like my music taste.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Then I start feeling like, dang, what am I doing?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely more tied to like self-worth.
I think so too. But also I feel like one thing that I can't say, I'm definitely hard on myself, but I would say my experience with other people around me outside of like family, I have definitely been blessed with being friends and knowing people who just like me for me, who like it's never really had like a purpose. Like if I would even think or like bring up like, oh, like you're so this, like, I don't understand why I fall into this. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful. It's good that life has given you good experiences to where you don't have to, I guess, like second guess that, and then I also feel like I don't know, upbringing matters too. I think a lot of people, like the article that we are going to link below.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it starts at a really early age. And I think you form like a pattern.
Yes.
And then you play out that pattern, because I would say like I definitely fell like a little bit more into that category of the girl who wrote this article. And it was about unrequited love, right? What was it about? Unconditional. I don't know. It's
Unconditional.
like all these things are running through my head. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but unconditional love. And talking about how, and I guess in a sense, kind of unrequited, because it's like she always felt the need to perform in order to gain anything.
And I feel that way about romantic relationships. I feel like friendships.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to give this person something just because I love them, and I feel like they're giving me something.
And that's healthy. I think that's healthy.
I feel like it's healthy, but then sometimes it gets to a point. When you get to a point, I feel like I'm a better communicator now. But when I was younger, I would just be like, I'm going to remove myself from this before these people realize like I'm not who they think I am. It was that kind of thing, and that was negative for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like now as friendships, I don't feel that way, but relationships, 100%. Like I always think if I like someone, have a crush, I won't even talk to this person if I feel like I can't give them anything. Like if I feel like this person needs this type of girl, or they need this, this, and this, I'm like not having a conversation with this person at all. Just me assuming like this was what this person would need. I don't have that, so I'm not even gonna do it.
It's just so crazy how there's like toxicity on the two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I feel like one is like over analyzing like how could I be of service, and then the other one more of like
how is this person
of service to me? And I feel like really moral of the story is that neither one are healthy.
Both of them, you can take it way too far.
You can take it way too far. I think literally, unless you're in a manipulative, toxic, abusive situationship with whomever it is in your life, you don't need to be thinking about these things. I truly, in my heart, at least for right now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even someone I'm not qualified. But I will be saying for me in my life, in my home, I feel like really it's just vibes.
It's just vibes.
Like the rest doesn't matter. Do you get along with this person? Are you guys cool? Because also if you're a person who has healthy boundaries, because this does play a part, you can establish the role that that person's going to be in your life.
That's so true. I think for me, I just feel like, and maybe like, okay, I'll come back to what I was about to say, because I'm going to think from the perspective of people who just feel like people have to do things for them. I feel like for those people, it gets to a point where like one thing I realized about them is that at first when I would see people say stuff like that on the internet of like, but what are you doing to me? What are you bringing to the table? I always thought that they were people who in the past were like this girl in the Substack article of like, I'm constantly doing things for other people and bringing stuff for other people. And I realized no one's doing it for me. So now I'm going to switch to the opposite out of her and be like, what does everybody else bring to the table? What can you do for me?
I think some of them are. But
I don't think any of them are. Actually, something I realized about those people is that those are people where people have always done things for you.
Maybe
like,
so,
they act like people, of course, there are some like relationship-wise where they will literally come out and say like, my exes did nothing for me, and like now I'm not going to stand for that, which I think that's positive.
I do.
I think that they should look for people, because obviously they're prone to choosing people who
bring nothing to the table.
But I feel like for the friendship one specifically, I would take relationships out of it. It's so weird because I feel like I always see the people saying that who have never once had a problem with like their friends not doing things for them. Like they're always the ones with their hand out. And it's like them just putting their foot down on like, yes, I am right to have my hand out. And I find it strange.
I think it makes me wonder, like, I don't know how those types of people were raised, but it makes me think about like maybe you grew up a little bit more like, not necessarily privileged, but a little bit more, what's the word I'm trying, like, you know, when you coddled?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like maybe like you had a parent or parents that were way more prone to doing your, like being at your beck and call. Because I feel like that is kind of the energy that gives me. With like just expecting the people around you
to like be at service.
To be at service.
Just like not, because those people, they think they're doing it emotionally. They're not doing it physically, most of them. It's not like, oh, pick this up for me, do that. Because they know that that's not going to fly. But it's always like,
I'm having a hard time. Why aren't you answering the phone?
Why aren't you answering the phone? Or like, I just went through this and I just find it crazy that like you didn't even call. Or like, what's crazy is that I've just been going through this and like you haven't even noticed.
So like as a person who in the past like struggled a lot with like anxious avoidance attachment, those types of people are really jarring to me.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna save it for after. I was about to say I'm not sure. I'm gonna save it for.
I don't think I have what?
No, I don't know if you've had experience with these specific type of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not because I feel like that goes into a different conversation.
Oh,
I feel like with your people, it wasn't
I'm
about
thinking about art.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the only person.
Oh no, but she
like
has mental illness.
Oh,
and
okay.
she does that to
Okay.
everyone. That's different. That's mental illness.
Okay.
I think the anxious people that you were with, it wasn't just like give. They were also giving their best as well because they were like really trying to make the friendship. Like, you know, when people are like, they like hold on to it, like squeeze.
Yeah.
It was more so like, I'm giving you all this. Please give me something back. Please.
Yeah,
give me this.
yeah,
You know, or like
yeah.
if I trauma dump to you, you trauma dump to me.
Right.
Type
right.
thing. But I think with these people, it's not necessarily like that because they don't care about what their friend, like what they're giving. They're not thinking about themselves and what they're giving. It's just kind of like, you know, as a friend, if you're not helping me become a better person, or if you haven't given me financial advice and like we're not going up together, or other ones like as a friend, you know, if you're not supporting me and like my decision to such and such, then like we could just never be, you
It's
know.
just absolutely insane.
It's giving Carrie when she was all the times that she ever got in arguments with Miranda.
yeah.
That's how I feel.
100%.
And people, I feel like it just goes to show your maturity level if you don't like Miranda from Sex and the City, because she was a real one, because she was also going to tell Carrie, like, no, I don't agree with this. And that doesn't make her a devilish, fiendish friend.
Yeah.
People have
Makes
different
her real.
sides. It makes her real. But like you're not going to always like your friend. You're not going to always feel like your friend showed up as a person you wanted them to be. That's just not realistic. So it's like you choosing to like, oh, I'm not friends with this person now because at my party they were like such a downer, is actually really crazy. If they're
insane.
always taking the spotlight from you and being down when you're up, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But it's like people have bad days. People have bad periods. Like,
People are not aesthetics. People are not something that you can carefully curate to your liking and control and mix and match when it best suits your needs.
and it's
That's
the
a fact.
Same as like, not to get into it because we've talked about this in so many episodes, the freaking White Lotus. I don't know if you guys have realized, but we are White Lotus fans.
Yeah.
The three girls in that one, it was also like there were so many people talking about their storyline, and they were like, I'm glad someone finally showed on TV that like it can be healthy to talk about your friends. I feel like you're living in high school if you're going to stop being friends with someone just because they talked about you.
Well,
and I don't mean
100%.
telling your business to everyone down the block. I mean, y'all have mutual friends,
Yeah.
and this person complained about something that
Something you did.
You know, or this person, like, you're talking to a friend and you're like, yeah, she was pretty mad at you yesterday when you left. Like, it's crazy. Y'all being like, what? She said what? She said that I was rude for
People
leaving?
are allowed to feel how they want to feel about something. And I'd rather have people around me that are real than people are going to literally like kiss my ass or sugarcoat
Oh my gosh,
things.
yes.
Because that's the real way of how you're never going to grow if you have yes men around.
Because guess what? You talk about your friends, even if it's just to a family member, even if you call your mom and you're like, I can't stand her.
One thing about
Like-
me, I'm going to always say something. I'm like, dang, I did not like the way that played out.
I did not like the way that played
I didn't
out.
like
I
that
did
girl.
not like, you know, that
And
could
yet, that's still her.
that's still her.
That doesn't make me dislike you anymore.
No,
it's more
that's
of like
actually
the situation.
That's my friend.
Yeah. And that's my girl. You better not say
my
that.
girl. Y'all better not say anything. I'm
What's the
talking about
respect
this
of her
one
name?
situation. I'm not talking about her whole character. It's that simple.
But it really does just go into the fact. I mean, it's a lot of little facts here.
Yeah.
But it really does just go into the fact of not to make this an episode about of like friendships because it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way that people deal with each other in society. Like I feel like it really is. It says a lot to be very, very hypercritical about another person, but not hold yourself to that same standard.
It
says a lot.
Crazy.
It says a lot.
No, it's so crazy. And one thing I will say about relationships, I wish more people did that in relationships, because I feel like people nowadays, if we're still on the topic of like, is love transactional? This whole like transactional thought process making its way into romantic relationships is actually really sickening. I mean, it's really sad for other people. That's what I'll say, because I feel bad for them. Because it's like, you don't get to have a list of all the things that you want in someone and truly never think, because it's like people, it doesn't cross their minds. This literally crossed my mind in high school.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this in high school. I remember my senior year of high school thinking about like, I want a boyfriend that's da-da-da-da. And I literally dreamt him up perfectly. And I remember after the moment I envisioned him, I was like, wait a minute, would somebody like that even like me? And I had to sit and think. Like, I was gagged. I literally gagged myself while just sitting in my imagination. And the whole imagination had to stop because I was like, wait, this is not even realistic.
Nobody.
Because I was not like me saying, oh, I want someone that's emotionally intelligent and that's kind to everyone and that does this and respectful, da-da-da. And you're like the complete opposite. It's crazy.
So that's what's important because I think it's kind of like a yin and yang.
Yin and yang,
I feel like it's really like that type of situation where it's not really anything wrong with having boundaries, having like a list and having something that you want to demand kind of in a way of the people that you want around you. If you yourself in turn are kind of ready to like give those exact same things, if not more, because then that's just like, okay, this is the way that you live your life. But I feel like it's really strange to have all these things on a list. And then that person turned around and they're like, oh, but can you do this for me? And you're sitting there like, no, because they definitely, like, this person had the audacity to act. They had to show up to their...
No, but also, like, this is one thing I will say, not to gag the girls, because obviously I'm for the girls and the gays, not the men. And I hate to say things to agree with men, but literally when somebody tweeted and it was like, you know, these women want all these things and the only thing they provide is literally sex. And he wasn't saying it from a point of view of like, he only thinks women provide sex. It was in the point of view, like, you have a man and like, he's doing all these things and like, you're so happy and you're like, oh, he did this for me. Like, I'm gonna let him have it tonight. And he's like, oh, like nothing, you're not giving him gifts that like are things that he's spoken about or like being kind, giving him whatever it is that he wants at that moment. I'm not saying that you have to fully service this person, but like he's mentioned a couple of times that like he likes his restaurant down the street. Never going there with him. He's mentioned like, oh, I like boba tea.
It's like, I have a gift. Sex.
Yeah.
Every single time.
You're like, oh, I have a surprise for you. And he's thinking like, oh, she's going to, and my friend is in town. I haven't seen in like 5 years. Of course, she's going to like bring this person over and like, you know, we're going to hang out. Or like, she knows that my favorite such and such is on. And he comes home like so excited. And it's like you in a robe for like the 7th night in a row. Like, do you, like, it gets to a point where it's like, y'all want, not just women, of course, men as well. But I'm saying, like, even for the men, there's so much stuff of like, oh, can you bring this to the table? Do you do this? And your only positive thing is like
something sexual.
Something sexual.
It's actually, to me, embarrassing at this day and age, at this time in your life, to still be using sex as some type of positive thing that you hold as if other people, men and women, whatever, non-binary, can't give to somebody else.
As some sort of like secret weapon. Like, oh, he's going to stay with me after this.
And y'all, it has never in history worked for anyone.
It's never worked.
Sex has never in history worked for someone when it came to keeping someone.
Sex alone. Not it plus 5 other things.
Right.
Alone, standing alone.
It can't stand alone.
It
can't stand alone as a foundation of anything.
No.
And it hasn't. Yet people still will show up on candid camera talking about, yeah, but he's not going to leave me because it's just too good. It's so humiliating.
No, it really is. I just feel like you said, like at our big age, I feel like at the age I am now, which is not even that big, I'm not going to tell y'all, but
don't worry about it.
It's not too huge.
Yeah.
I just feel like y'all don't want to give more. I feel like I can't wait to be in love with someone and like do anything for them. And not in the sense of like small things, like make them happy, make them like give them crazy, you know, love and appreciation,
but also in the way that like what works for them. I think it's so important. Don't ever mistake this for a pick me conversation, because it's not.
No,
but I feel like it's kind of like, if you have a partner, you know, treating this person and caring for this person, it's not universal. it can't look like how it looked for your ex because this is a different person.
No, that's what I'm saying. These people, like, I don't think that clicks in like a lot of people.
Recycling the same gifts from every relationship, thinking you're doing.
Also, it's the mindset of like, this worked for this man. Like what we were just talking about. Like, first of all, sex doesn't work for everyone.
No, it really doesn't.
There are some people who literally, some men, I know people don't like to think this, but I do believe that it's true, who literally can go a pretty good long time without having sex. Or like, that's not the top thing in a relationship.
Shout out to the celibate like kings and queens.
Celibate kings and queens. Mm-hmm. It's not always something that makes people like, okay, this is the reason why.
It's not always something that is the height and peak of a relationship.
Yeah, so I think that, like, I don't know. I just don't understand.
Like, y'all couldn't survive a year in, like, an asexual relationship. I said a year, that's crazy. Y'all couldn't survive a week.
A week.
Because now you're going to have to bring something else to the table.
Now you're going to have to bring...
Now you're going to have to sit and have actual conversations.
But it's like, don't y'all want to do that? I think that's where my mind goes.
No.
It's like, but you don't want to, like, have someone that you can talk to about anything? Like, that just doesn't cross your mind.
You don't want to have someone that you can do hobbies with.
They don't.
So, like, you know, so I'm going to, like, lightly touch on this because we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I saw this post on Instagram where there was this guy and he was talking about how, like, a lot of women these days think that it's okay to not have a hobby. Mm-hmm. And also, like, that's what we were saying, kind of like think that like eating, sleeping, sex is enough. Mm-hmm. And like, they're like, in what? You know, like, in what about it?
Yeah.
Like you try to clock them on it and they're like, I don't have to do anything else. Mm-hmm. What a weird way of being.
Yeah.
Thinking that like you can have a relationship and that's all you bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And also that it's not strange to do other things in life.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're like depressed, that's just not okay. Mm-mm. Because I feel like mental health is the only thing that, like, when I hear something like that, I'm like, okay, you've been depressed.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have any current hobbies because like something's going on.
Yeah.
But there are people out here, truly, that just don't feel the need to participate or partake in anything.
Yeah.
It's really strange. You don't like to paint. You don't like to go outside. You don't like to hike.
You don't like to go for walks.
Exercise. I mean, listen to music, sing, make music. You don't watch certain shows. Like, I'm over here naming like
yeah,
you
like,
can't tell me you don't do one, but some people really don't.
Do.
Some people really don't have hobbies, and I don't know. I would just say, like, once again to the beginning.
I remember being gagged that somebody I knew in high school literally didn't listen to music.
That's crazy.
Like, they just didn't listen.
That's crazy.
I was like, what?
That's a very weird. And I mean, here's the tea. Like, some people are like boring.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't to drag them because they had other hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, other things that they like to do. But me being like an avid music listener, I was like, you don't listen to
mean, there's just so many genres. I think it's strange to not like listen to one of them. But yeah, I mean, it's so many different types of people out here. Find your tea. Mm-hmm. I just think that I'm saying all this to say it's weird to like have no hobbies yourself, but to demand that from other people.
Yeah.
I think when we're talking about things like that unconditional or just transactional, like I think honestly in my heart, I think love is unconditional.
That's a question now. I think it should be, but I think that goes into a question. I don't know of our listeners, like who's spiritual, who's not, or who's religious or who's not, or if you're not religious, like if you're what is it called? If you know like this concept, I feel like in a lot of religions, I know it's true for Christianity, it's like the only person that can give you unconditional love is God. And I feel like it might be the same in like Islam as well. Like your partner is like your partner is your partner. And like that person is supposed to love you. And like if God brings that person to you, then like of course just love is like it's pure love type thing. But like there is a big thought process one like or like opinion idea that like you are not going to receive unconditional love from another human being.
Well, I don't know. I do think, like, for me, I like to think I'm a godly, God-fearing woman.
Yeah.
I think for me, it is kind of like this thing where we do know that, like, God is the source of unconditional love. Mm-hmm. But it's also, like, our purpose is supposed to be more like him in that way.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, we will never achieve that level of unconditional love for people. Mm-hmm. But I do think, like, we should kind of, like,
strive.
We should strive for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, because I think that the opposite, we haven't gained anything like in humanity by not doing that. I think like when you set out to be conditional, you end up with horrible relationships.
Yeah.
I think the best relationships are ones where it's like, you do this and I love you anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You know that quote that goes crazy? This like, you like because you love despite. It's like that simple. People don't understand. Like having a crush is like, oh yeah, I like him because he's funny and he's this and he's that. But like truly loving someone is like, I love you on your bad days. I love your mood swings. I love you
Exactly.
even though sometimes you get on my nerves.
Even though, because
Like-
I think it's all also kind of like recognizing that people are not going to be perfect, you and other people.
Yeah.
No one will ever achieve that level. It's like you can't be so judgy and like scrutinizing people to the point where it's like, oh, this person does this. Oh, like I don't like the way this person. I don't like people with high pitched voices. I don't like you know. I feel like everyone is so hypercritical these days, and maybe it is because they are also very critical of themselves. Maybe like a generation is being raised to literally hate themselves from social media. That's fine. But I'm saying that if you want to have happy, long lasting relationships, you've got to give some of that up.
You have to. And then the whole thing, like we said, not even just like the standards being crazy, but while you're in those friendships and in those relationships, say you've met someone, you've already let them in, just being so quick to like drop them over things that won't matter in like 2 years.
And you know what? Like I'm telling you, as a person who has definitely like dipped and dabbled in what we're talking about, and I don't know how to really put it. I think like being on more of like the judgier side.
No, I think that this conversation is gross.
Yeah, but I also kind of feel like something that I'm realizing for myself. So maybe like some people out there might have been like in my shoes. Maybe you just don't like the people around you. And I think that that is the biggest one.
No, that really is what it is, though, because I feel like some people, I don't think that they know how to like people. I think that is one of the things.
Yeah.
I think that some of them don't understand the concept of what goes into having a friendship and life and stuff, because you're not going to like them every single day.
You're not.
But I do think that like, in this case, a lot of people don't understand. You actually just don't like that friend. You guys are calling each other friends, but like that person did one thing and you dropped them, not because you have such good boundaries or you respect yourself. You just didn't like them.
Or sometimes not even because that thing is so upsetting to you, because I think that's how it was for me. Now, unfortunately, like in the article that we keep referring to, I definitely think that like from childhood, like I was like predisposed to like certain types of behaviors that were going to haunt me in life moving forward. However, like the way that you allow things to grow is 100% on you, and you have to own up to the things that you're continuing in your life as an adult. You know, I think that like in the beginning, I did have like a lot of friends where we like I would hang out with anybody. Like we didn't have to have nothing in common, just the fact that we wanted to vibe. And I feel like I used to be on that end until I realized, oh my gosh, we don't agree on anything morally, right? So then it's like I swung too far in the opposite direction, and like this is relationships and friendships. And now I'm finding people and we have the same morals, right? But I was like, something is not clicking. And then it would be like little details. And I'm like, wait, this is not working because, you know, she's not into this type of music. Or, you know, it would be like these small little things that were adding up that would like literally drive me crazy because I think it was just me trying to figure out like, why don't I like this person on paper? We should be a vibe. But coming to like that realization, it is growth. I just don't like them. It's really just that simple.
It's just
like,
that simple.
When you know, you know.
You know.
When you know, you know. And that's, I'm not trying to say that having unconditional love for people means that you will like everyone. That's not the same thing. It means that you should love people despite things that are going on in their lives. But liking someone is a complete different thing. And don't try to force anything. I think that's really what I'm like for me. I'm what I'm learning for myself and what I have learned is truly like, hey, maybe you're just not the right friend for me. That's fine. And it's not based on a list of things that I can carry up to like count up to be like, oh, you're not into this, or, oh, you should like this, and kind of needing some type of catastrophic reason to cut this person off. Do y'all vibe? I think like a lot of people are missing that point. I feel like that's how it was back in the day. We need to bring that back. Actually, a real friend, you actually don't even have to have that much in common.
I also think that's 100% true. I also think that people kind of like, and this might like, I do agree with you to an extent of like, do y'all vibe? Because it's like, don't overthink it and don't overanalyze.
Yeah.
But then again, too, I feel like nowadays people are so quick to rush into getting so close to someone just from quote unquote vibing. And then they realize like, oh, I don't like this person. Or like, I'm not like, we don't have this, and this. Like, I don't think you should overanalyze like when you first meet someone, but definitely take it slow, because I feel like the fallouts that some people be having, like story times on TikToks and Instagram about, it's like, how did you not see that? But they didn't see that that person was different from them morally, or different from them, what they think is like right versus wrong.
Yeah.
Because you've never really had a deep conversation with, or like even a more than a surface level conversation with this person.
Yeah.
All y'all do is like, y'all laugh at the same memes, y'all go hang out, y'all have similar types of dress, and it's like, oh yeah, that's my girl. Like that's the homegirl. And it's like,
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. I've definitely been on these sides. So I'm hearing what you're saying. You didn't tell a single lie. That's definitely true. When you just think about vibing in particular and don't press any questions, I think that's also an issue. But I think the way like you carry yourself is important. I have grown so much to the point where like you can't separate me from politics. And I know a lot of people will say that's problematic. I don't care.
Yeah.
The things that are happening in the world are so like outrageous that it's insane to not have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And I think also like we are coming down to the last days, quite literally. I feel like it's kind of like you don't really get to like kick your feet back and act like these things are not like morally, you know what I mean? Like wrong. So I feel like,
I mean, you lead with the things that you're interested in now. And it's like someone who is anti these things, they're not going to come up to you and try to be friends unless they're one of those people who are quote unquote your friend just to be like the devil's advocate constantly.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to do.
It's a very weird thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a lot of people, you just have to put the things frontward.
Yeah.
Even if you're scared, like this will repel this types of people. That's good because those people don't need to be in your life.
My gosh. Never ever in life, never be afraid of repelling people.
Yeah.
Never. In fact, oh my gosh, seek it out.
Seek it out.
I would say seek it out. Make it your
Be
business.
super loud about like the specific things, the way that you are, and the things that you don't tolerate.
Yes, so that it can take all the people that don't like that. They will literally leave you alone. You don't have to spend time. Yeah, they'll be fighting to get out the door.
Yeah.
Like literally, you don't have to worry about micromanaging people in your life and trying to see who's good for you and who's bad for you. Be unapologetically yourself and watch how many people will leave the room.
Yeah. And the people who stay, period.
Because you felt that.
You felt that.
And that's how you figure out who your real friends are.
That's how you lock in.
What?
We just cracked the code.
We cracked the code. Like, utterly be loud. Be so opinionated. Say whatever you want at any God-given moment. Be, like, saying at times that people deem to be inappropriate.
Yeah.
Stand up and say how you feel about something and, like, be like, and what?
And what? Who felt that?
Yeah, but also who finna check me?
Yeah.
Like,
come on.
You're so funny. No, I'm saying like quite literally because I feel like a real friend, like the girls that get it, and the ones that don't. I feel like there has never been something more prophetical than that statement right there. I feel like you either get it or you don't. You get right or you get left. Like I feel like that's just how I feel about the situation. And for people who are still on the fence, no, I really just don't think relationships in any way, friendships and love, it should not be transactional.
No, you shouldn't be seeking to gain something from it.
This isn't a barter system.
It's not a barter system. You shouldn't even, like...
Oh my gosh, you know that song by Pouche?
Rice and Peas.
I want to be your pride and your joy.
Oh, it's still
there's a part where she's still around where she's like, when you give your heart or love so freely, because it's taking nothing from me.
Yeah.
Giving
she's
things
like,
to all I see.
so be it, because it's taking nothing from
And
me.
so that's how I feel. I feel like everyone, and I can't keep going on a tangent, but I feel like a lot of people feel so exhausted because they feel like they're out here giving their love in such a crazy way. But I feel like the act of giving like true love actually isn't that tiring and as taxing as you guys are.
There's one, that's number one. Number two, there's literally a quote by Walt Whitman when he's like, love, like given out is never...
Love wasted?
Yeah, it's like it's never wasted because the point of love doesn't lie in reciprocity.
Oh my God.
And so that's what he was
again.
trying to say. Like, he's like, it's never, because people feel like, oh, like it wasn't given back or whatever. But he's like, the point of even showing love has nothing to do with it being reciprocated.
It has never had anything to do with that.
And I feel like no one's saying that you need to just walk around like giving all of your energy to people who will obviously hate you. But it's like, I think too many people put too much of a focus on like love being given back, like the point, like, oh, I'm doing all of this because this person is gonna, like, they need to do it for me too.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily.
But also the titles are wrong. I don't think what you're doing is love.
No, it's not.
I even feel like there are a lot of different words for different things. Some of you guys are really pouring out a lot of yourself and you're overextending yourself, but I don't know because
I don't know if it's love. Maybe
it's not love.
Energy, attention.
Maybe, and I don't know, some kind of sacrificial
care.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe. It's like you are doing a lot of things, but what you aren't doing is loving that person. I'm sorry.
Because at the end of the day, there will be times where the people you love simply cannot give you the love back. Like when people, what are you going to do when your quote unquote loving husband that you love so much because he gives it back to you hits depression? Y'all are getting up there in age. His parents die, both of them.
Yeah.
And he has been depressed for like 2 years straight.
And
now all of a sudden you don't love him anymore.
But yeah, because that's what happens when you have a transactional relationship.
And same with friendships. All of a sudden you can't stand your friend because she's been unemployed for 5 months and she's been down and she doesn't like to go to brunch anymore and she's not funny anymore.
Because you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say, which is so crazy because that's the plot.
Yeah.
That's the plot of what I was trying to get at here.
Yeah.
You never really liked her.
You didn't.
You never liked her because when you really like someone, you like them in all forms.
No, or what I'll even say is that you only like that person. You didn't love them.
Oh.
Because like we said, you like because you love despite.
Wow.
All of those quote unquote becauses disappeared.
Yeah, when you love that
got
person.
Depressed from being laid off or something. And it's only been 5 months.
And you know what?
And you're already done.
You're already fed up. You're telling people I can't do this. This is not what I signed up for.
This is not what I said.
And you know what? That's what I'm trying to say. Listen to what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of y'all sign up for the little bonuses that people bring and add into your life. You're not signing up for the actual person.
No.
Because when you love that person, a person in their right state of mind knows that someone's life can flip-flop. The person you know today might not look like the person you know tomorrow.
Yeah.
But when you know that person at their core and you love that person at your core, like you're ready for the ride.
You might not recognize this person a year from now.
You might not, but I'm saying you're ready because it's kind of like, I decided to love this person. This person means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. I get that people change. I get that one day I might change.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
those people never think about themselves. Like we said, it's coming back full circle.
It's all coming back.
It's coming back full circle, y'all. Look at how we tied that together.
Literally, some of y'all can't stand somebody because now they don't got a job. I think you need to look at yourself.
You need to look at yourself.
You need to knock it off because in this economy, it could be you.
It could be you.
What is it? What you would call it? What?
Oh my gosh, the foot you step on today could be connected. No, what is it? Is it the foot?
I want to say that it was that.
It's the toes you step on today. It could be connected to the foot in your ass tomorrow. And people don't think about that.
Literally a word.
A word. That was spoken word.
That was spoken word, truly.
People don't understand that.
Like,
no, because we're going to have to wrap up soon.
We're going to have to wrap this up.
But that's one thing that people don't understand.
They'll never understand it.
Because it could be you. What if it were you?
What would it be for you without the butter?
No butter.
Come on, I'm telling you. It's literally like, it's not okay to look at somebody and look at their situation and just be like, I can't.
I mean, someone that you've been friends with. I'm not saying you need to go make a friend that's like super depressed if you're not in that season.
Right.
But like, it's crazy. People have seasons and it's insane for you to be friends with someone for like 3 years and like literally just dip out on them like that.
Because you don't always have to be. If you stop thinking about the type of person you have to even show up as much, you wouldn't feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say for real, like having struggled with like growing up and always for myself feeling like I had to perform to feel worthy of anything, feeling like I couldn't just simply exist and be loved. I feel like I definitely do hear y'all. I hear the people that have experienced that. I have experienced that myself. However, if you even stop thinking about what you need to show up as in a friendship as well, you stop feeling maybe even the burden that you might think that this person is bringing into your life.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's like,
because
is that person asking for that?
no one is
Or
asking.
do you just feel like that's your role?
It's and so that's the issue, is that like just being a friend, like just be there for that person and love that person and hope that majority of the time is felt. Because my thing is, it isn't your job to bring someone back to life. It's not your job to nurse someone back to life. And a lot of times y'all are exhausting yourself doing more in a friendship than what's required of you.
Yeah.
They need to, what you can do for a friend, drive them to the hospital and drop their ass off at the curb.
Yeah.
Because this is where you're going to really get better.
This is where
not in my arms.
You can be there. You can come over once a week and clean part of their apartment.
Yeah.
While y'all are just sitting and talking.
Yes.
You know, I think a lot of people, you're overthinking it. You don't have to be this person's therapist.
You don't have to be this person's therapist. And if they're asking you, it's an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
And if you're putting it on yourself, it's an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
But it's on your terms now.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really just the end of the day. Maybe if you don't make transactional relationships, they won't be there.
That is where we're going to end.
That's where we're going to end.
Because some of y'all are forcing yourselves into transactional relationships, and that's it.
That's it.
We said, if no, because if people are like, if you're with those quotes, when people think that they're like really giving you advice, and you're like, well, if you're cold, just put a jacket on.
Oh yeah,
but like it's actually a fact.
Yeah.
And
no, that was so real. I was so passionate about that. So.
No, she was really on it. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, though. And let us know below if you think that transactional relationships are valid, if you feel like that plays a part in romantic relationships, or if you're just on the complete opposite spectrum and you don't allow transactional relationships in your life.
Right.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
This is like my side out.